Hi, Megan Elizabeth.
Hello.
Okay, Megan Elizabeth, I have some questions for you.
I'm happy to answer them.
I think a lot of viewers would like to know some little juice about you, and I don't know if anybody's squeezed any out of you yet, but my raw vegan chef and really good friend, really pleasure and an honor that you're here in Hawaii with me.
Thank you.
And you're at my house, and I've been loving it, and I consider you one of my really good friends.
Oh, thank you.
Really,
You're
really good friend.
really generous, and I'm having a fabulous time.
Great, thank you. Okay, I consider you to be every woman, the girl next door.
Mm-hmm.
The girl who grew up in a little overweight in a world that was underweight and obsessed. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I was pretty chubby. I kind of just ate what I wanted. I was vegetarian, and I just kind of lived on cheese and bread, and I just didn't really have a healthy relationship with food, didn't have a healthy relationship with my body. And as I grew up and became a teenager, I had a lot of body image issues. I went through phases, and my weight was just constantly fluctuating. I would be 135 pounds, 145 pounds. At one point I got up to 170 pounds, and then I, lost a whole bunch of weight by just like eating lots of diet foods and stuff like that. So I did hit a point where, like I think a lot of girls do, that they see stuff on the media and they feel like, I've got to be perfect, I've got to be thin, I've got to do, people aren't going to like me, guys won't like me unless I'm thin. And so, I did that whole thing of just like doing whatever I could to lose weight. And I think the lowest I had been before I got into raw foods was really probably about 125 pounds. And yeah, I was definitely obsessed with it. And I had a lot of issues growing up with women and friendships, and lots of drama in high school. I won't get into all that now, but yeah, I definitely had my issues growing up.
And you think those issues spilled over into your weight and maybe emotional eating or something like that?
Definitely, and the friends that I had at the time, they were also into kind of just being lazy and eating crappy food, and they weren't very nice to me. And
you mentioned a name that they called you.
My nickname in high school amongst my close girlfriends was Buddha, and they used to rub my belly and say, "Oh, Buddha," because I was like, a little bit heavy. And it was weird because they were also kind of heavy too, but I was like, why am I the one that's Buddha? You're Buddha too.
I guess you got the good luck in the end.
I feel like maybe that's true. I don't know.
Karma. Yeah. Could you describe a typical day on a fruitarian lifestyle?
So now I'm, living permanently on the Big Island, and my fruit options are very different than they were when I was first starting out. When I first started out on 80-10-10, I ate a lot of oranges, I ate a lot of mangoes. I didn't really eat bananas. I ate a little bit of dates and lots of salads and greens and vegetables and stuff, and berries and things like that. But now that I'm out here, it's very different. It's lots of papayas, coconut water, things like that. So I wake up in the morning and I drink probably 8 or 9 cups of coconut water. That's like pretty standard, like every single day. I do that, and I just do it because I feel really great. And a lot of times I'm not super hungry for a big meal in the morning, so I wake up and I have water, and then I have a bunch of coconut water, and then I'll maybe get into some mangoes. I really love like lychees and ramatans. They're in season. I just kind of eat until I feel satisfied with each thing, and I'll usually have a few, maybe like 3 or 4 different little like fruit meals. I'm kind of more of a snacker. I don't like to eat tons of fruit at one sitting. I kind of like to graze throughout the day, and I understand some people can't do that because they work. But
you don't like that full feeling?
I don't really enjoy that until the end of the day when I'm eating my salad, because I'm coming from, having a lot of energy issues with adrenal issues and thyroid stuff, and it helps me to maintain my energy if I'm not eating really huge portions. But I understand that works for some people, and I understand why they do that. So after I've had a few, fruit meals throughout the day, then I usually have a big salad at night, and sometimes I'll make a mango dressing, sometimes I'll have an avocado dressing, or some coconut meat or something like that.
You find that grounds you at the end of the day?
You mean the salad or the fat?
Salad with the fat.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes if I eat a salad and it just has mango on it, I find that I'm like picking and eating a little bit of extra fruit afterwards. Where if I just eat a little bit of salad with some avocado on it, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Does the trick.
Yeah. So that's what a typical day for me looks like out here.
You find you're eating enough fruit where you're not grazing after the salad.
Yeah. I feel like I'm getting definitely a sufficient amount of fruit during the day.
You think that you could run into problems on this lifestyle?
Absolutely. I don't think it's all about food. Life isn't all about food, and there's so many other factors that make up health. And, I've experienced issues myself and got into supplementing with some different stuff. There's certain nutrients that you're just not going to get on the raw vegan diet, and some people want to claim that you can, be a purist and just eat fruits and vegetables and you won't have to supplement. But, long term, people develop health issues and they need to find a place to go, and they need to know that there is information out there, there is help, and, it's not necessarily the diet, maybe it's the growing methods of the food or whatever. But, I've personally run into issues where if I was overstressed or whatever, just my diet alone isn't going to make up for it. And I've needed to take time off, take breaks, take supplements, and pay attention to my health. And just because you're eating fruit doesn't mean you're a superhero.
And everybody's coming from another place of antibiotics or whatever vaccines that they had for. Yeah.
Everyone's got their health history.
Makes sense to me. Turning the page. A little informal there. Was it hard to stay social and in contact with mainstream friends after you became fruitarian?
So my first year into the fruit-based diet, I still maintained a lot of my old friendships, and I was working at Arnold's Cafe, and a lot of my friends would come in there and they'd eat with me, and they were interested in it too, and they thought, okay, well, this is working for you, like that's cool. But I guess they started to feel like I was getting too much into it, and some of them said, your life is all about this whole raw food thing now, and I don't know where I fit in, and, we don't really connect as much. And so I did kind of grow apart from, at least 3 of my close girlfriends that I had at the time. And, they're more into going out and partying and drinking, and that is what led me to become sick and have to eat raw food. So I couldn't participate in that anymore. And I tried my best, not to be a fanatic about it, but it saved my life, so I had to immerse myself in it at the time. And so I started to meet new people, different people that were really open and really friendly and loving. And like the friends that I had before, they would have never given me a hug and told me that they loved me. And now I've met so many people in this community that are just so open and honest, and I just feel a really deep connection with a lot of these people that I never felt before.
Amazing, amazing. So they were threatened probably also, these friends.
Possibly, but to me it worked out for the best.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you were not a pioneer at the Woodstock Fruit Festival and didn't have any allergies, would you eat cooked foods?
If I didn't have any allergies, I don't see a problem with eating cooked foods. As long as they're, ethical, vegan, and I guess I'm definitely against eating processed foods because I think that our bodies were just not meant for that. But I've seen a lot of people do well eating a high raw diet and some cooked whole foods. And I can't say that I would enjoy that really long term. Maybe if I could get away with it physically, if I felt okay, I would do it here and there. But I really genuinely love fruit. I love like the light feeling that it gives me. I love the idea of like the food that I'm eating is like something that can be like, it can
nourish you,
but it can also like recreate more food. It's like, I eat a papaya and I'm not destroying something, I can take those seeds and I can plant them and create more papayas.
Right.
So that is also exciting to me. But just with my health history, I'm not really able to eat very much cooked food at all. Like I've had to do it in certain situations where I'm traveling and things like that. But I really don't feel good, and I just want to feel my best.
And just, I guess it's a two-part question. If when you were, the bulk of your weight was lost, not as a raw vegan,
Right.
and you didn't feel optimal until the next question, it spills over, and who was influential in making that change for you?
Right. So when I initially lost a bunch of weight, I said before, I got down to 125 pounds, but then I became extremely ill. I had all kinds of intestinal stuff going on, adrenal issues, and I was totally malnourished. I wasn't absorbing my food, and I dropped down to 107 pounds, which looked crazy on me because I had been mostly overweight in my life. And so when I got into raw foods, I actually gained healthy weight back, and I got back up to about 115 pounds. And that's when I started to, you know, regain my life and my health, and my weight just became really easy to maintain. And the person that was just overall like the biggest influence on me was Arnold Kaufman. And, you know, I know some people crack jokes about Arnold and say like, oh, you know, like he's crazy, or like, you know, whatever.
I love Arnold.
I really love him too, and like he's
very unique.
He might be crazy, but like he's passionate and he's helping people, and like he helped me, he saved my life, and he saved so many other people's lives too.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate everything that he's done for the movement. And, you know, I don't care if he eats a potato here and there, like I love the guy.
He's a great guy.
He's giving out free green smoothies all over the place, trying to help people. And
check him out.
Yeah.
Check him out. And what's his cafe?
His cafe is called Arnold's Way. It's in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and it's a fabulous place. It's a cafe, health food store, education center, and it's just, he calls it the raw food capital of the world, but it's definitely the raw food capital in Pennsylvania.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you were not with a partner, Joey B, who supported this lifestyle, you think you could have continued with this?
Mm-hmm. So before I
it's like another religion, you know.
Right. So before I started dating Joey, I actually was dating somebody else when I got into the raw lifestyle. And it was hard at first, and I did feel tempted with certain things. But after making enough mistakes, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this to myself. I'm gonna stop hurting myself. And you know, I did kind of decide before I had broken up with that other person, you know, I'm gonna follow this diet because it makes me feel good, and I did, and I continued to follow it, even though, you know, this person was eating a healthy diet, but he wasn't vegan yet, and he wasn't totally into raw foods now. And now this person has totally changed, and he is so into raw foods, and he's ethically vegan, and I'm just so happy for him, and he's passionate about it as well. But at the time when we were dating, he wasn't, and I made it work because it was what I had to do.
Fantastic. All right, turning the page. Can anyone do this? And most people can anyone do this? And can most people make a living doing this?
I think that almost anyone can follow this diet if they really are passionate about it, if they really need to make it work for their health. You know, I didn't start out having a lot of money. I did what I had to do. I found this raw food cafe, and I practically forced Arnold to hire me. I said, hire me, I need to immerse myself in this. And, you know, I just made like minimum wage and some tips while I was doing it. And, you know.
So you're saying work in a place that will,
yeah, and I know not everybody can do that, but, you know, if you're
Not a
working an
bad
office
idea.
job, you're
Yeah.
probably making more money than I was working at this little cafe, making a minimum wage.
or at
So-
least become a consultant and really immerse yourself in it.
Right, and you have to prioritize. It's like, okay, am I going to buy this magazine? Am I going to buy all this little stuff? Am I going to buy all these clothes? Or am I going to focus on my health and what is truly important to me? And
Great advice.
well, what was the second part of the, could anybody make a living?
Yeah.
So I think it takes the right kind of person to make a living doing this. It takes probably the right time, and you know, I don't think anybody can just jump into it now. It seemed like there was a time where there weren't a lot of people doing this. They weren't doing a lot of videos. There weren't as many raw food ebooks and things like that, and recipe books. And it seems like there are a lot of people doing it. But I still wouldn't discourage anybody from doing it if that really is their passion. And
I think somebody could always give their flair to something.
yeah, and everyone connects with a different kind of person. So, you know, you're not necessarily late in the game. You know, you can always jump in if you have something good to share. You just have to be realistic about it. You know, if it's not working for you, you got to let it go and you got to find something else.
Great advice. Great advice. What would you add if you had to? And I guess the second part of that question is, what supplements do you take and why?
Like, what would I add to the diet?
Yeah,
or?
I guess would you add salt or, you know, a little bit more fat than the recommended?
As far as like the 80-10-10
Yeah, I
diet?
mean, would you be a little bit more flexible? Over time, you've seen changes, and you've been able to experiment with different ratios, and also with salt, let's say, or you know, some salt inside of something. If you don't have salt for a while, what's it like having salt later? Do you feel like maybe there could be lack of sodium in the abundance of vegetables that you're eating, especially if you're exercising midday in the sun?
Right.
These are questions that come up for me, so I'm asking what I want to know.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, everyone is coming from a different health history, and, you know, not making excuses for myself, but people that have adrenal issues, you don't hold on to salt properly, like people who do not. So, you know, I can eat a lot of salty vegetables, but sometimes I still crave salt. And, you know, I typically don't really eat it, and I try to just include it when I'm really craving it or I feel it's necessary. But, you know, I have low blood pressure, and sometimes it can get too low. Example was, we went on a hike the other day and my blood pressure just dropped in the heat, and, you know, I didn't feel good, and I came back, had a little bit of salt, and I felt better.
Oh.
And, you know, I think I would, if I could add anything, you know, I couldn't think of any specific food or anything like that. It would be to add a difference of, like, you know, the mindset. Like, people are very rigid, and they should be open to doing whatever's necessary to make it sustainable long term. You know, whether it's supplementing, whether it's adding a little bit of salt, whether it's including some herbs or spices or whatever keeps them feeling good and still doing it.
And you're taking some supplements.
And I do take supplements. You know, I had an issue this past summer before the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and I didn't know if I was going to make it to the festival because I was having some serious health issues. I was having skin issues, and a lot of it was due to stress, and I think I depleted my body of nutrients, and I needed to take time to rest and rebuild, and just the diet alone, it wasn't helping me, and it was taking too long. You know, it was like 4 months that I was struggling.
Wow.
And I thought, I need help, I need something else. And so, you know, I got some blood tests done, found out I was low in zinc and iodine, vitamin D, and I started supplementing with those things, and I started to improve. So,
Great.
you know,
You listen to your body.
I did, and I want to stay on this diet, so I want to do what I have to do to stay on it.
Got it. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years, hopefully, you know, I want to keep continuing to do videos. I really love doing videos.
We love them too.
Like, just even right now, just doing it right now, I love it. And like, after I do a video, I'm always like so excited. I feel like invigorated. I'm like, like, I got to like share what was in my heart.
That's great.
And so I'd like to continue doing that. Hopefully I can create, you know, more helpful products that make the diet easier for people, that are more supportive for people. That's something I also like to do. I like to create stuff like that. And then I'd like to do more retreats. So in 10 years, I would like to be doing, you know, a few retreats a year. I
You
really
just had a
enjoyed
retreat,
that.
right?
I did. You know, we did a retreat in April, and it was my first one. You know, I did it with Joey and Ryan. We kind of hosted it together, and
I heard it was great.
it went really well. I was like so excited.
That's not easy to do, and especially the first one. I give my hats off to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I was
Really
really
well.
excited about it, and I hope to do a lot more in the future.
Good job.
Yeah.
What would you have told your teen self if you could talk to her?
I would tell her, hang on, it's going to get better. You know, I experienced a lot of anxiety and a little bit of depression when I was a teenager, and I was a little bit overweight, and I ate crappy foods, and, you know, I don't know if just changing my diet alone would have made me a happy person, but, you know, being able to look back and see from this perspective, you know, you take a lot of things seriously when you're a teenager.
From hormones.
Yeah, from just a breakup to someone giving you a look in the hallway, and like, you know, just someone saying something mean to you. Like, you just take everything so seriously, and now I don't really take that much very seriously. So I wish that I could tell my old self, just stop taking everything so seriously.
And then you think that maybe also that they would feel so much more emotionally stable if they were eating the right foods as well.
Definitely,
right?
yeah. You know, I was definitely probably lacking in nutrition, and a lot of that can cause mood swings. It can intensify PMS and stuff like that, and so
then you get more sensitive to people.
Absolutely,
I found that for me too. And one last final question. This wasn't too juicy, but it was pretty good. List 2 things people would be surprised to know about you.
So one thing that most people don't know, I guess because the camera is usually seeing me from here up, is that I have a tattoo. So I'm gonna... No, I'm just kidding. So
Hilarious.
It's on my foot. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there. And it's just a heart. And I call it my love button. And I push on it like, I need love!
Aww.
No, I call it the love button because it's
When did you get it?
It was August 2007.
Oh, it was after you were already
No, it was like right before. I think I got into, it was probably like a year before. It was like maybe 2008.
So no regrets about the tattoo?
No regrets, and I have plans for a new tattoo. But I'm not going to disclose any information about that because people will just be like, don't do it!
It'll probably be exposed enough anyway, so people would know where to look.
Yeah, I'll show you guys when I get my new tattoo.
And number 2?
Number 2 is really dorky, but I sleep with a teddy bear.
You sleep with a what now?
I sleep with a teddy bear!
That's okay. We're not judging.
And his name's Pudgy.
Oh.
And like when people come visit me at my house, they try to steal him from me.
Do you think that maybe the teddy bear is a little bit hurt that it's called Pudgy?
No, he doesn't have a chin. His face is like this. So
teddy bears are meant to be, so it's a compliment.
He's meant to be pudgy.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
And he eats
raw vegan?
He eats maple syrup, not honey.
Okay, that's very, very ethical of him.
Yep.
And you for getting it for him.
Yep.
Unless he's on his own and he does it.
It's Canadian.
Okay. I heard it here. Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Megan. This
Thank
was a
you.
pleasure. I'm so happy that so many viewers are going to know a little bit more into your lifestyle and things that I think everybody wants to know what they should do sometimes and need a little guidance because you've got the experience.
Thank you.
And your videos are amazing. Your recipes are to die for.
Oh, thanks.
Really good. And Joey takes amazing, amazing film.
He does.
So kudos to both of you and thank you so much for being here and for watching and doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.